Last time in issue 4 of Lightbringer, the boobs of Hannah, an underage girl, was discussed way too much. Lightbringer got his ass beat by his first ever supervillain called the Smiling Man. The Smiling Man succeeded in his goal and just left. Will Lightbringer actually be able to defeat a villain this time? Let's dive into Lightbringer issue 5 to find out. Okay, the Lightbringer. Comes the gentleman. He's big or he's perspective or whatever. The gentleman's design is based on two primary sources. Since it'd give away plot details if I told you one of the sources, I'll save that for later. Creepy winky face. Practically, I modeled him after Chester Morris's role in the terrible B movie, The Sheet Creature, named Dr. Carlo Lombardi. While the movie is awful, Morris plays the role with deadly seriousness that made him appeal to me as a potentially fantastic evil guy. On top of that, I always thought the idea of some type of gentlemanly figure as either a hero or a villain would work great, especially if he wore a tuxedo, and so the end result is as you see here. Of course, his color scheme can be quite a chore to work with, since it means I have to separate every black on black part of him with gray lines. Still, I hope he becomes an interesting member of Lightbringer's Rogues Gallery. Oh, is he just gonna be Jack the Ripper? He's just gonna be Jack the Ripper, isn't he? Okay. This is fine. This is fine. I'm fine. Frickin' text again. Frickin' text. I don't think the lines of the bubbles are supposed to cross. You have this real estate here too, so whatever. This is fine. This is fine. And what about my 30% from a week ago? You'll get it. You'll get it. Geez, this was easier with the slavers. They knew how to negotiate these things. Okay, so is this how we're trying to do the Fallout? Yeah, well, they aren't in charge anymore, and they won't ever be again. You aren't going to get away with avoiding payments with. I'm not saying that anymore, not while I'm here. Okay, okay. You'll have it in 4 days tops, okay? Son of a woman? What? I'm very confused. 2 days, otherwise you can meet a pet of mine. Fine, whatever. I have so many questions. I'm assuming this is supposed to be a woman. I'm confused. Stupid bitch. Jeez. There are days I really do miss the slavers. At least you knew where you stood with them, or where you kneeled. Bad enough, I have to work with the fog coming in. But then I have to deal with, hey, is that someone coming in out of the fog? It's totally just gonna be the Jack the Ripper thing. Hey there, fancy dresser. Need any help with anything tonight? Special cameo appearance by Pimpette of Pimpette and Associates. This isn't helping with the creepy reputation. As a matter of fact, yes. Your eyes, I feel so tired. You can help me send a message. Inked in blood. For all the world to see. Gentlemanly behavior. Yeah, he's just Jack the Ripper. Okay. Oh, come on with the freaking text. They're killing me. They're killing me with this text. My throat's getting really sore, too. Happy birthday, Hannah. We've closed the store for an hour, and there's cake in the break room. You did get the cake, right, Gary? Who's that guy? He's just staring in the background, and it looks like his eyes are, like, gonna bleed because they're so intensely fixated on something. It's there. You're the king, Gary. Nah, I'm Spartacus. I don't I don't know why the Spartacus thing though. What does Spartacus have to do with any of this? I don't get it. So anywho, congratulations on being an adult now, Hannah. So now we can do creepier stuff with you. And don't imagine that means you're moving out on me yet, Hannah. My apartment requires 2 people at any given time, and so far I haven't met a guy who meets my standards. By the way, keeping the new hairstyle? Until I get sick of it, yeah. So far, I like it though. Easier to comb. All right, you guys get a head start. I need to talk to Hannah alone for a second. I guess it's supposed to be Lightbringer. Why is it just like weird? All right, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Okay, whatever. Any luck getting more details on the gentleman? Nothing the papers haven't already covered. Crane's gotten a little more info based on a supervisor's account. So far, he's only successfully beaten, I guess, one group because the Smiling Man, I guess, was a complete failure. And as far as I know, he never gets resolved unless that's like a completely different thing. Crane's gotten a little more info based on a supervisor's account. Apparently, he came out of the fog, which matches up what some of the other survivors said. It might be a good clue. You know, you can have the night off if you'd like, since it's your birthday, and let you have all the glory when you catch the killer. No, thanks, partner. I feel like I remember a movie. Was it on Red Letter Media or something? It was like a modern day Jack the Ripper thing, and it also had fog. I think that's because like they moved like the London Bridge to like a city or something, so and it was like possessed by like Jack the Ripper. I don't remember. I remember that being a thing though. Okay, as you can see, Hannah's hair has been redesigned so I can draw it easier. The design is based off of the fan art provided in a contest a while back by Larry G. Larry G. I don't know. Remember when I said I have to make Hannah 18 so I wouldn't feel guilty? Well, here you go. That doesn't sound creepy at all, Lewis. Oddly enough, after looking at this, while the page is actually about Hannah becoming an adult, the new hair actually makes her look younger now. Weird. Also, my boss has this habit where he calls me by nicknames, one of which is You're the King, Lewis. I decided it'd be a nice recurring gag and an otherwise humorless comic. Creepy winky face. Well, thanks at least for making the microphone smaller. You can't even tell I have it on now. So Linkara doesn't have to draw it anymore. It was no problem, really. Reached the south side of town yet? Oh, look, a little stick figure about to jump. No, but I think I spotted something. There's a woman on the ledge of an apartment building. I wonder if she's going to, and then she's like running and jumping off. Have to move fast. Can't try to catch her legs. I could snap her neck. If I stopped her body so abruptly, I need to make a net to absorb the force of descent and bring her back to zero motion. I just hope this isn't a suicide. Last thing I need is something like The Incredibles, I was about to say. Anyone roughly acquainted with the Marvel Universe and Spider-Man is aware of the Gwen Stacy conundrum, in which Gwen Stacy was dropped from the top of a bridge, and Spider-Man would have been unable to swing underneath and save her, opting instead to use his webline to catch her foot. However, stopping her body so abruptly, that's misspelled, like that caused her neck to snap, killing her. Lightbringer, a comic fan himself, is well aware of the physics problem and fortunately his own powers to deal with it. Oh, this actually looks interesting. What is this? White Death. Huh. I find it amazing that I've had lots of people say they were interested in drawing White Death, even though she hasn't appeared in the comic yet. Okay, gets caught. Bunyan. Sorry to catch you like this, madam, but I'm afraid you would have made an unpleasant color on the sidewalk. My recommendation, whatever it is, not worth killing yourself over. I hope you don't mind. Whoosh. Oh, God. So much text. So much freaking text. Why? Why are we doing this? This sucks. Oh, I don't mind at all. I'm Iris Kelbert with the Pharaoh's Guardian. Is this a good time for an interview? Chick, this could have gone so badly. Why would you do this? This is it. This is on like Hannah levels of like going around trying to get mugged. This is like the same amount of suicidal approach, even if you're not actually trying to kill yourself. This is dumb. This is really dumb. Wait a second. Why are you putting me down here? Because I have nothing to say to you or any other reporter. Why not? I have questions that need to be answered. You can't even see this text and like, I guess in theory, if you cut down the text, like these panels wouldn't be like too bad in terms of like implying action of what's actually happening. I just think there's way too much text. For starters, who are you behind the mask? The public has a right to know who they've suddenly put their hopes in for saving them when they walk home at night. You know, it's so funny when reporters say that people have a right to know something. I don't recall seeing right to know anywhere in the Constitution. Nor do I recall a right to privacy for public figures, which is what you are. Is that why your paper and other papers carry the story of how the government tracks down terrorists because they're public figures? What are you getting at? I'm saying that on a fairly consistent basis, all reporters like you have done recently is try to get people afraid when they don't need to be. I mean, that's I guess, based journalism hating. Look, I'm not getting into this. You're a public figure and you have an obligation to answer my questions. He doesn't have an obligation, but it would probably be good for him to answer just for his own, just for the sake of the public, but whatever. Here's one for starters. Do you have any statement to make on the current level of prostitution in the city, especially in the light of all the recent attacks by the gentleman? No comment. And by the way, the next time you try to get my attention by throwing yourself off a ledge, please keep in mind there are people who can't read a paper because they were serious about jumping, and it had nothing to do with winning a Pulitzer. I guess based journalism hating. I realize in this one, Lightbringer comes off as a bit of a jerk. I mean, not like more than usual. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Seriously, what is this supposed to be? Can someone like translate forms speak to me? What the shit is like these two arrows and like two semicolons? Sorry, there wasn't a lot of panel space for the discussion, so I did the best I could. His views are better explained in a later page. You don't need to explain his views. There's more organic ways to do this. Also, the story about how the government tracks down terrorists is a reference to a New York Times story done several months ago. Told the procedure for how the government tracks down terrorists through various electronic means. Now, on its own, is a perfectly legitimate story idea. The problem being that it caused a lot of hullabaloo from people claiming that the government was tracking down ordinary citizens or that civil rights were in danger of being violated. They weren't. They kind of were, though. I mean, the Patriot Act has a lot of like legit issues. You run into NSA issues and all that type of stuff. I don't 100% agree with that part. Furthermore, the article had the bigger problem of alerting terrorists to the procedure of how the U.S. is capable of tracking them, being the conclusion to this. If this is how the infidels attack us, perhaps we should stop doing this. Sadly, all my attempts to locate an online version of the article have come to naught. If anyone knows about it, please let me know. Did they get the A-OK for the government to post that? Because I could see the government like posting them from being able to post that if it was like an actual threat to catching terrorists. Oh my god. Oh no, this is come on. Okay, let's get this over with. Okay, is this a different night or did he just move? Whatever. I hate stakeouts. I don't know how cops handle it. Well, at least you have me to talk to. Oh, and I finished reading Watchmen. It's kind of annoying whenever people are like, here's this thing I like, I'm gonna put it in there. I understand wanting to talk to people about your interests. Like, I'll probably put in X23 into way more conversations than I should. But I can see that being kind of obnoxious. Then also gets it to the point of you kind of want to be compared to that work when you're clearly not on that level. It's also a thing. It was great. I love the aspect of deconstructing the superhero. Heh. What was that for? Because everyone always seems to say that about it. I don't think that's what Watchmen is all about. So this is just Lewis talking about his takes on Watchmen. Who cares? Why do we need to talk about this? Just write that on a blog. Watchmen is a story about how not to be a superhero. You shouldn't be a gun-toting psycho like the comedian. You shouldn't be in it because someone forced you like Silk Spectre 2. Dr. Manhattan has all the powers, but he has no humanity in which to put those powers to real good. Rorschach is so obsessed with the job that he kills criminals and can't exist outside of the Rorschach personality. I mean, killing the criminals isn't like too bad, but yeah, Rorschach has a lot of issues, but he had issues from the beginning. Yeah, sure, these are all like valid points, but I think I swear I've heard this before, but whatever. Ozymandias is the greatest example, though. Why is that? Hubris, Hannah. There is a reason why a powerful superhero doesn't just conquer the world or try to control everything secretly, even without the fantastic elements involved in it. It's too big for one person, super or otherwise. Never forget that, Hannah. Know your limits. But he succeeded, though. Ozymandias completely succeeded. His plan worked. Everything worked. I don't know if you're exactly making that argument correctly. You can talk about how it was unethical, but whatever. And that's why you're just a one-time superhero, eh? That's right. Speaking of which, the fog's rolling in, and it looks like a very well-dressed man is talking to our hooker. Time to get to work. Okay. Can you like give the lady a gun or something? Let her know that she's bait. Let's keep on talking about Watchmen, I guess. Watchmen's good and all, but whatever. There it is. So in case you weren't paying attention, I like Watchmen. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten Night Owl. Creepy winky face. In any case, the page has got some philosophy for you. Look at all the difficulties that the President of the United States has in trying to manage a country that has so many diverse opinions, religions, philosophies, viewpoints, etc., etc. Now try to imagine a single figure trying to manage the entire world, trying to play all the millions of factors and differing beliefs into something that, for the most part, runs fairly smoothly. I won't say it's impossible, since I don't really believe in impossible, but consider the sheer difficulty level of it. Well, personally, I don't think that people, at least on this version of while we're in our current fallen state, I don't think that the world can ever be perfected through just humanity trying to govern better. I don't think that any governing system can perfectly fix something. All of them have their own issues. I do think what we are currently using in America is the best that we can probably do. Maybe some adjustments, but generally, I don't think that you can really do too much better. Just because of there's always going to be something that someone can exploit and make it bad and all that type of stuff. If it was a perfect world, then of course we'd use different systems, but this isn't a perfect world, so blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. Ozymandias and Watchmen believe that he can control it all, or at least shape things in the way he thought it needed to be done. But the truth is that no one can know the exact outcome of things. I mean, yeah, he was just a genius trying to stop people from blowing each other up and thinking there's a greater threat. There's no pattern outside of true, pure mathematics that will always display the same predictable answer, and no one person should think they can do it all. Ozymandias doesn't understand his limits, but Lightbringer does. He's not a god, he's just a guy in a cape and a mask who wants to help people. That, my friends, I'd say is a nobler way of doing things than thinking too far outside of the box. It's fine, I guess. New fan art. This was partially requested. Again, all of his fan art mostly seems to be requested, so. And not like, oh, guys, thanks for the fan art. Here's some stuff. It's more like it's mutual following type stuff.
3 days later.
Okay, let's get started here. Hold it right there, gentlemen. Ah, the Lightbringer. I thought we might encounter one another. Are you all right, madam? Ugh, so tired. What you do to her? I guess he like hypnotized her. I hypnotized. Oh, he just says it. Okay, I hypnotized her, Lightbringer, just like I'm going to do to you. Or just like I'm doing to you. I thought with like hypnotism, you need to be like somewhat like willing to do it. Otherwise, it doesn't work. I guess this is like forced hypnotism. Maybe it's like a power thing, but if you need to actually like hypnotize people, I think it's that they have to be like susceptible to it and kind of consent to it almost in a way. Yeah, funny thing about hypnosis, it requires the yeah, exactly. Wow. Whatever. It requires the willful acceptance of the other person for it to work. And while the prostitutes may not be really submitting themselves to be hypnotized, they probably figured you were a customer when they saw you and didn't try to fight any hypnotic suggestions of yours. I guess just explain everything. That's fine. I figured that might make more sense if there was like a little discovery type situation instead of just like, oh, but I'm doing this thing. Oh, but you can't do this thing because actually, I don't know. It feels like little kid logic where it's like I'm using this power. No, my power counters that power type thing. It kind of feels like that. Erg. Well put. You and I are trying to achieve the same goals, you know. Okay, we're doing this again. I was unaware that slaughtering prostitutes was on my mission statement. We are both trying to rescue Pharaoh's city from the evils plaguing it. You, however, are more concerned with the consequences of evil. Huh? While I deal with the immortality at its source. Shouldn't you also, like, take out the Johns, though? Because the Johns are, like, it's a supply and demand thing. I don't support prostitution. If it, actually, shouldn't you be going after the pimps? Because also, like, the pimps can sometimes, like, get them, like, kind of force them into it. So shouldn't you be more going after, like, the suppliers than like the supply, if that makes sense. If you really want to like cut it out at its root, yeah, at its source, that doesn't really make sense to me. But okay, it takes my beam. I'm not gonna read that number. I'm sorry. Of a second to reach his knife and deflect it, and somehow within that amount of time, he manages to reach the prostitute and grab her neck with a box cutter to her neck. How? How is he that fast? What? Okay, I'm gonna go with he's supernatural. He's supernatural Jack the Ripper ghost or something. We'll see. With a single cut, I can sever her card. I can't pronounce things. I'm sorry, guys. Carotid. I know that can't be right. I know that's not right, but I can't say it. Artery and make her bleed to death. Try anything, and that's what will happen. If you hurt her, I have no intention of harming her yet. In any case, I'll take my leave now. As for you, if you want any hope of ending the chaos and corruption, I suggest you start sending a message to the people who you have deemed so worthy of rescuing. I will say the bubbles aren't as bad this time. And look, we have a nice little action sequence. This is nice. I'm getting a little bit of hope. Maybe this one's not going to be as bad as the last few stories. Okay, there you got the text back. The text is back. I spoke too soon. Okay, but it's still like a little bit easier. It's still easier to follow. It's just way too much text, but okay. I suggest you retreat to your home and flip on the television. It's time for a rude awakening. I can't risk attacking now while he has that knife to her throat, especially since he's unusually quick. Perhaps after that you'll see why you need to take action the right way. The smiling man escaped justice. I won't let the second supervillain I've encountered share that honor. Yeah, no, I don't think he's the smiling man's gone. He's often like doing a crossover thing and it's lost the time. So we'll never know what happened. I've been meaning to see if this will work or not. First, I shoot a bit of light at my target, then let it hit the target. I'm hoping that this is just a tracking thing because he's already shot beams before. Great. It's not an easy thing to do, but if I focus enough, I can follow the trail of light as it bounces from one object to the next. Okay. Okay, so he's doing a tracker. Does it glow though? Do they know that they have a tracker on them? In this case, provided the light doesn't fade too soon, I should be able to follow the gentleman to wherever he's going. I thought it was a construct, so how can it fade unless if you're like not keeping up with him? I don't know. Hannah, I'm right behind him. Be ready to signal the police once I find where he's going. Oh, I actually kind of like this art. Sure, like Some things are kind of funky, but it's got personality, and that's honestly what I look for in art is personality. Like that's why Scotty Young's like my favorite artist. It's both kind of edgy, but also like adorable. Oh no. I thought we were getting better. But look at this. She's making like her own superhero costume or something. Are we ever gonna get an explanation for why she's unnaturally strong, or is that just gonna be a thing and we're just gonna have to accept it because strong, independent women don't need no man? You know, this whole thing has got me thinking about what? About what both the reporter and the gentleman have said. Should I be speaking out? Should I be trying to be a public figure and a role model? I don't know, boss. Well, that reporter wanted you to give an opinion on prostitution. What's your opinion? I don't have one. How you not have an opinion on that? I judge you if you don't have an opinion on that. It's bad for like everyone involved. Hey, Mr. Moral Black and White Man, prostitution is a moral black. It's bad. It hurts everyone involved. It spreads disease and it degrades human people into like cattle to basically just sell their bodies. It goes against their dignity. I don't see how that's how Mr. Moral Black and White doesn't have an opinion on that. Oh, come on. It's true, Hannah. Sure, I have beliefs on the matter. Like, no one should ever be forced to be a prostitute, whether it's for economic reasons or slavery. But the profession itself, I have no opinion. You are wrong. I'm sorry. Hot take. You are wrong. Look, there are people who do actually like being prostitutes, and then there's like the consequences for them as they grow up. There's it never, even if you think there's no consequences, there will be. Good for them, but I don't think they're the reason for the decay of ethics that the gentleman seems to think. Like, it's more like the people who are buying into it and like the pimps, but like they're still like part of the system, I guess. Guess it's more like it's objectification of people in general that cause people to go to porn. So why not speak your opinion? I want to, Hannah, I really do. But then I turn on the news and see how things are. It's not just that the news creates an unwarranted air of fear, it's the bias. Oh, and this is before like news got as fake as it did. Again, journalism hating based Linkara. Or at least Lightbringer. Oh, come on. You're overstating your case. Am I, Hannah? False documents are put on as news without verifying their authenticity. People who are activists for liberal groups are merely presented as activists, while their opponents are labeled conservatives. And the instant that someone mentions the possibility of bias in the news, the media attacks the person responsible instead of addressing the issue. Keep in mind, this is 2006. It's only gotten so much worse. Linkara was ahead of the curve, man. I think he switched sides. I think he's more in the SJW sphere now. But he used to be have his finger on the pulse. He was noticing the trends before they were like super noticeable, I guess. And what does that have to do with you not being able to speak your opinion? Because my opinion is irrelevant, Hannah. I'm not a god. I'm not a public figure. You are a public figure. You're a superhero. A superhero is a public figure. Bro. I'm just a guy trying to make things better. But they want to turn me into a celebrity figure who we have to hang our every word on and hang on, something's going on in the warehouse. Okay, but if you just don't want to speak, that's fine, but you are a public figure. Even if you don't say anything, you're still a public figure just based on what you are, but whatever. Okay, confession time. This issue, while I originally had it be another philosophical one, seems to have drifted more onto the political side of things. I really tried not to be preachy in my work. Bro, you're not the best at that. But it can certainly come off as so. Yeah. Yeah, it does. Really, this issue was supposed to be about the idea of whether or not a figure like Lightbringer should be taking sides on any issue, or what his role is in the public eye. But I've gotten kind of ranty with my attacks on the media. Sorry. No, it's fine, that's based. Still, at least I have the courage to admit my bias. Creepy winky face. Of course, I'm going into ranty mode again. Someone hit me. The problem is really that they don't realize they're biased. I mean, he's probably right to some degree, because there's the general idea that no matter what, someone's thinking they're doing the right thing, even if they're not doing the right thing. To them, their viewpoints and the way they present the news is not liberal. It's moderate and the rational way of doing things. I swear he's like completely changed his politics now. But okay. And when people have legitimate reasons not to conform to those views, they automatically assume they're somewhat different from the norm and label those individuals without a proper cause. See Bernard Goldberg's book Bias for a better account of this. It's the misguided view and elitism that just bugs me. Okay, rant over. Return to shiny special effects for the next page. Ooh, Let's see. Let's see what we got. I'm hyped. It's just a beam again. I guess this was our. Oh God. Oh God, the bubbles. No, not again. Freaking bubbles. Again, it's the placement. People of the world, please watch carefully, for this message is vital to your future. Wait, I guess did he just go and watch TV? Did he? Oh wait, no, this is the tracing. Right, he put a tracker thing on him. Right. Okay. The last several centuries, I have. Wait, doesn't like Lightbringer like glow and stuff when he flies? How does this guy not notice like a big like glowing light following him around while he's trying to do his evil scheme? That doesn't really make sense. Oh well. For the last several centuries, I have watched this world grow older, but not better. I have witnessed the decay of morality and the growth of chaos and corruption. Women have become horse, whether on the streets or in their schools. Okay. Men are lecherous cowards, more inclined to fill their blood with chemicals instead of courage. The flying light bulb, yes, exactly. Exactly. I think that would be a slight issue when trying to be sneaky. I have tried many times in secret to try to get you to look at your own sickness in the Whitechapel area of London. I knew it! I knew he was just Jack the Ripper! Look at him! He's just Jack the Ripper! And he's also claiming to do the Black Dahlia too. Okay, the Black Dahlia, the Hammersmith murders. Okay, that one I don't actually know what that is. The Zodiac incidents in California. Okay, he's also the Zodiac killer. It's just any unsolved true crime involving women. It was the gentleman all along. Each time I try to get you to look at yourselves, and the message never gets through. Why would you do the Zodiac thing when you needed like people to like decode it? Why didn't you just like send it more clear if you're trying to do a message? Okay, life. I guess this is sequential. I feel like there should be like what is this called? A gutter? There should be like a gutter here, maybe. But then again, I guess this is happening at the same time, so I guess that's why he chose to do it this way. But whatever. Okay, it's so tiresome watching you people descend into anarchy. I've been called to a higher purpose so that you may all stop your decadence. Is he like a vampire or something? How is he still alive? Oh, everything I have done is your fault. You have all had the power to stop the evils you have committed, yet you do nothing. As such, I have to set an example for you. I'm going to slice this. I mean, I'm not. Okay, it's fine. We're a small YouTube channel. I can say this. This horse's throat from ear to ear. And you're all going to watch and see. Try to act like civilized beings from now on, would you please? How does this help with your message? And then we got a little Fazoo as I guess he's taking, is this like the broadcast thing? I guess this is a camera. What is it hooked up to? Okay, whatever. And here's where we have the secondary source of inspiration for the gentleman. Anyone who was a fan of the science fiction show Babylon 5. This is the second time that he's taken a plot point from Babylon 5. I think he said like the slavers was like a direct reaction to Babylon 5 having like an episode where they tried to like say that human slavery could be justified kind of ish, or at least like a black market could be justified. Well, recall the episode Comes the Inquisitor, in which the Vorlons sent a human named Sebastian to torture Dellen in order to see if she was the chosen one. The role was done with effective creepiness and charisma by Wayne Alexander, a frequent guest star of the show. The ultimate revelation was, sorry to spoil people, that he had originally been Jack the Ripper. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, this is all gobbledygook to me, because while I do watch science fiction, it's generally more like the 60s, like really shitty kind, because that's what I like. Like me and my dad like love to watch Lost in Space with like the horrible effects and it's kind of a little over the top. That's more my style. Not that I don't like sci-fi in general, it's just more I haven't really gotten into it. So he just took a plot point from the show again. So a lot of Lightbringer feels like it's just kind of regurgitating other ideas, which to be fair, I think a lot of things do that because you know what they say about like there's no original story. Tropes are tropes for a reason, and they work if you use them correctly. So it's not necessarily bad to have tropes. It's just more what you do with them. And I feel like he doesn't change it enough to really justify using these things, but I don't know. Let's see where he goes with this. While such a revelation may seem altogether campy and predictable for a science fiction series, especially one that had dealt with time travel before, there had been nothing to suggest he was the famous murderer. Isn't that a bad thing? Don't you want like the twist to make sense? That was because instead of having him just be some psycho who killed people, J. Michael Straczynski, I don't know, creator of Babylon 5, wanted to examine the motivation behind the Ripper's killings. Plenty of people have done that before. What would drive a man to do such gruesome killings? The answer lies not only with the gentleman's dialogue above, but in Sebastian's dialogue, the direct inspiration for the gentleman. The city was drowning in decay, chaos, immorality. A message needed to be sent, a warning. In the pursuit of my holy cause, I did things, terrible things, unspeakable things. The world condemned me, but it didn't matter because I believed I was right and the world was wrong. I believed I was the divine messenger. I believed I was chosen. Brr. A lesson Lightbringer may someday face himself. Creepy winky face. How is he? Okay, so what is he? I really hope it's not time travel again because we just had a time traveling villain. Is he like a vampire? Is that why he's fast? Like, what is he? Why don't you start acting civilized, you monster? Here's a tip. It's not very gentlemanly to kill people. I mean, the gentleman class could get away with quite a bit. It's, I guess, more in like the modern sense, I guess. Madam, please step aside while I show this psychopath some manners. He's holding on to her. What is she supposed to do to step aside? Turk. Murph. Well, you have interrupted my proceedings. I was not expecting the gentleman to say whelp, but okay. You don't know the half of it. I peeked in and saw what you were up to, so I went up the roof and destroyed the transmitters. Your little message never got out to the public. What? You arrogant child! I have lived for over 400 years, and this is the first time I have been met with such brashness. Bro, you have not seen. I guess he just doesn't leave his house? And that's how he's never seen this brashness before? This isn't that brash, but okay. Trust me, it won't be the last time. Yeah, he'll have to, like, leave his house. Oh, look, woman power. And another new trick from this guy. I can't say I'm terribly surprised. Okay, it just goes right into it, I guess. And again, in reality, I don't need to be doing this little stalemate. I shoot the light from my hands both for dramatic effect and simplicity, but I can also shape how the beam goes. Then why don't you just do that? I can keep up this little thing while also splitting the beam off into 50 different shots and hit him from multiple sides. Okay, are we going to get to see that? No? But really, where's the fun in that? Especially when I've got one very upset prostitute who has had a bad night and needs to take it out on someone. And for all his abilities and his lectures about corruption and immorality, all it took was one swift blow to the back of the head to take out this murderer. I let up my own attack so it doesn't accidentally keep going and hurt the woman. Good job on her part. Still, I've got to wonder who was this guy really? Yeah. Also, what's the beam? Is it like magic? Is it fire? What is the beam? And more text. Lewis, you might have wanted to use like the line tool in Paint for this one if you wanted to make it look more like a police badge, but that's fine. That's fine. Nice work, LB. Okay, nice work, LB. Still not sure who it was that called us, but I'm glad you got word to us. Humph. You know, for a guy who just single-handedly stopped a killing spree, you seem pretty sullen. Not sullen, I've just got a lot on my mind. Have you got everything under control with Jack the Ripper over there? Oh, sure, you know, he's still ranting about how we're all sinners and doers and we'll all pay for what we've done. You explained his right to remain silent? 3 times, he won't shut up. If that's the case, I'll be off. There's something I need to take care of. Okay, so he's like this immortal guy, I'm assuming, and he can shoot beams. Does he need the staff to shoot beams? I feel like you need to like have someone here to make sure that he can't just escape again, because apparently he's been a serial killer just multiple times throughout the years, just whenever he feels like it. I don't know if you should just put him in jail, maybe a special jail. Because if there's superheroes and stuff now, you should probably actually start working on the special jails in case there's super villains. Which we've already had 2, so you're a little bit behind the curve, but I feel like that's generally how it goes. Here's the journalist who tried to throw herself off a building to get a scoop. Tapita, tapita. Sorry to interrupt your work, but I'd love to talk if you had a minute. By the way, Pompous only has 1 S in it. That's some pretty strong shit to talk when you keep on making typos in your comic, Lewis. This one, I think it looks okay. It's not my favorite style, to be honest. Oh, it's not done yet. I hate that he interrupts it with the fan art stuff. I kind of wish that he just I thought he has a separate area for fan art. Why don't you just bring it up over there? Because it kind of interrupts the flow. I first want to apologize about being so rude with you. You know my opinion about the media, but I feel I need to clarify why I really don't want to answer questions. The problem is that you start asking me opinions on wars, politics, ideology. Pretty soon I'm not a superhero anymore. I'm a celebrity more concerned about my image in the paper than doing the real thing. I'm a symbol, Miss Colored. And if you want to print that, that's fine. And if you want to try to hunt me down and find out who I am behind this mask, that's fine too. But I implore you to consider the ramifications of such actions before you do. Thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me, there's still work to be done. So he just went over there to just go and lecture her about why he doesn't take comments. Just don't take comments. Nicely done, boss. Thanks. By the way, when you were listing off the flaws of Watchmen characters, you didn't mention Night Owl. What was his problem? Night Owl? Oh, he had one flaw, but he corrected that. What was that? He had given up. Yeah, I guess that's fair. I need to reread Watchmen. It's been like a few years. I mean, I do recommend it. It's a classic for a reason, but it feels a little much whenever he brings up Watchmen because then you immediately be like, I should be reading Watchmen right now, or it's like, are you sure you want to bring Watchmen into this when it's your like amateur comic and putting it up to like that standard might not be the best? And there he is now, the emissary of light. How graceful, how angelic, how deceptive. Make peace with whatever god you believe in, Lightbringer, for the darkness has arrived, and the darkness's agent, the Darkbringer, will make you pay for tricking the world with your light. Next, step into the darkness. Of course, he's the Darkbringer. In the next issue of Lightbringer, will we finally get to meet the Darkbringer? And will their fight be as contrived as it sounds? Find out next time. Same rat time. Same rat channel. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe, and thank you for your time.